I'm Aaron Hall, business attorney in Minneapolis.
Hello, this is Mark Santee from the law firm of Thompson Hall, Santee, Cerny, and Dooley. I'm a business attorney here in the Twin Cities. I'm here today with Lauren Johnson from American Mortgage and Equity Consultants. How are you doing today, Lauren?
Very well, even though it's 3 below outside. It's very nice and warm here in the room, so thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Today we were going to talk a little bit about what you do. So if you could give us your background and how you got where you are today.
Well, very simply put, I work in the mortgage industry. Most people know what happens in the mortgage industry. I either help people buy homes or refinance the home that they're in. The bigger trick nowadays is you need to be state licensed or federally licensed. You have to show some competency and take a test, which I've done. But it's more to know the types of available products that are out there to help people. 10 years ago, it was real simple. We'd work with a bank, try to find the lowest rate, and that's all we needed to do. Now, it's much more complicated in terms of if it's the first time you're owning a home, there's money available from the state of Minnesota. There may be money available from a city or a county. There's also ways, if you're looking to refinance your home, to get today's good interest rates, and you've paid your bills on time, you have great credit, but because you may have bought your home toward the height of the housing market craze 4 or 5 years ago, it might be that you owe more on your home than on paper someone says it's worth right now. There are different programs, both government-sponsored and state-sponsored, that can help people in those situations that have decent credit to refinance. For people that don't have really good credit, there are lots of programs. I am not a credit specialist, but having done this for the last 11 years, there are certain things you can do to help people with their credit scores, help them through the maze of talking to credit bureaus to try to get their score not only good enough to buy a home, but in today's market, as you probably know better than I do, Mark, credit scores can be important to your job, to future earnings, to lots of things besides just buying a home.
Right, and one of the things I do, I'm interested in personal finance, and I like to help clients who are having financial difficulties. It's obviously very prevalent today, even in 2013. As the economy starts to pick up, it seems that an anchor that people have weighing on them is still their house.
Right.
They're underwater on their house, or they're not taking advantage of the low interest rates. Now, why typically people would go to their real estate broker first, it would seem. How can you help them in a way that a real estate broker couldn't?
Well, I guess I'll break that apart into 2 responses for you. If someone's looking to purchase their new home, it never hurts to get to talk to a real estate professional first. A realtor, it knows an area, knows a market, but their specialty is in helping find a home, negotiating the proper price for that home, and assisting that buyer in every way possible to get them into a home. My specialty is in helping with the bank financing of that loan. I mean, for almost all people, a home that they buy is the biggest financial investment or financial transaction they're ever going to make.
Right.
So in dealing with, like I mentioned, dealing with the bank or dealing with the intricacies of qualifying for the best possible loan, do you put 3.5% down as a minimum down payment, 5%, 10%, 20%? Those are things that I help with that a realtor may not have necessarily the knowledge or the time to be able to help with, not because they don't care. Realtors are very good people. It's just that their specialty is helping people into the home. My specialty is helping to finance it. The other way to answer the question, though, that you mentioned is when people feel like their home might be an anchor. A lot of times, as you mentioned, it may be a job loss, an unfortunate medical condition. It could be a death in the family. Lots of different reasons why. In those instances, a realtor can help in terms of putting a house on the market to sell, but again, doesn't necessarily deal with the banks in terms of finding a true value. Or again, so you sell the house, where will you go to live? Those are things that realtors can help with, but I can help from the financial end determine very quickly what can you do and how can you do it, so that between myself and the realtor and the customer, we can formulate a game plan that we're all on the same page. Because in any situation like that, we're on the same page. And if they're involving you and your services, it would be the same thing. It's how do we all get on the same page so we achieve the same end game? Because the only end game that's right is the end game for the customer. And I don't say that because it sounds nice, but it's true. I mean, at the end result, we want them in a home, and a home that they can afford, and a home that they like. And we're all on that same page, you with what you do, a realtor with what they do, myself in the mortgage business.
Good. I understand that the laws are changing a little bit in this area, or the requirements. I believe they're the FHA requirements. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Right now, currently, with FHA, it's the easiest way for a person to get into a home in that their credit requirements are a little bit looser than what we call a conventional loan. People hear the words Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Those tend to be called conventional loans. An FHA loan is a government-sponsored loan, goes all the way back to the early 30s, and the Federal Housing Authority is where the FHA loan actually started. But you only need 3.5% down, the lowest possible down payment unless you're a veteran. And it also allows you the opportunity to get into a home with a credit score that may be less than what a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan would be. The reason they can afford to be a little more lenient is because they charge something called mortgage insurance. That mortgage insurance basically insures the lender in case of a default or a problem with the loan. Currently, that mortgage insurance, once someone owns 22% of their home on paper, so equity we call it, once they have that, or they've been making their payments on time for at least 5 years, mortgage insurance can go away. You don't refinance, you don't have to fill out a new enrollment, it just goes away. With the new FHA requirements that'll be starting here this spring, mortgage insurance never goes away, and the cost of that insurance goes up. Now, when they say it only goes up a couple of cents, that's true, but a couple of cents per thousand on a $150,000 home every month adds up very quickly. So for a lot of people, again, it's a question of not only how cheaply can they get in a home has always been the question. Now it's, when's the proper time to get into a home? Is it better to get in cheaper with FHA, knowing full well that you may be paying mortgage insurance, which is tax deductible, but it's an extra expense? Do you want to continue paying that? Is it better to maybe wait a couple of months and be able to afford a conventional loan? And again, putting that game plan together.
That's a lot to think about, and it sounds like your services probably pay for themselves in the long run. Like you said, buying a home is a major investment, probably one of the biggest investments in a person's life. I think it's great that they take an active role in purchasing the house and seek out professionals like yourself. Why don't you tell folks where they can reach you if they're interested in your services?
Easiest way to reach me would either be on the internet. You can go to my website address, which is www.loren, L-O-R-E-N, knows, K-N-O-W-S, mortgages.com. You can email me at Loren, L-O-R-E-N.Johnson, with an O, at amecinc.org, or you can call me, 651-226-4363. That goes directly to my phone. It's a cell phone. It's always with me. I answer my phone until 10 o'clock every evening.
Well, thanks a lot, Loren. I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, Mark,
thanks
very
for
much.
watching. I'm Mark Santee with Thompson Hall, Santee, Cerny, and Dooley. Thank you.